I really need to turn that down. Anyway, hello and welcome to the channel. Who am I kidding? No one's watching this. This is my first video, and we all know that I'm going to look at this in 10 years and be like, wait, I tried to be a YouTube star? No. Alright, but here's the truth, guys. I have been... Why am I wearing these? I don't need these right now. I have been staring at computer part specs, numbers, estimations for the last 2 days straight, and I'm going crazy. I feel simultaneously like I'm a fucking wizard, but also, you know, like I still don't know shit. I still don't know about like PCIe lanes or like the RAM timings or any of that, but I still feel like I know so much. Like I feel like I can build any PC I want, but then I try to go deeper and I'm going deeper and deeper down this rabbit hole, and I still don't understand like any of it. So it's been kind of frustrating, but also you've got to deal with the fact that something new is going to come out in like 6 months, and you're going to feel like all the money that you spent on this build is a waste. But you still gotta just you gotta just suck it up and deal at some point and be like, hey, okay, I know this is coming out later this year, but I can either build my PC now, or I can keep waiting for the next best thing and then never have a PC at all. So I'm building a PC part list for 2 of my friends. One who is just all about VR, doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't really plan on doing like FPS shooters or anything like that, like with a flat monitor. He just wants VR. So I'm trying to build something for him that I know is like top of the line, but I'm also questioning him, like, at what point is it too much for what he wants to do? And then I have another friend who wants like a VR workstation PC to do streaming and video production and all of that with. And so they're very similar builds, slightly different at the very finite or finessing parts of it, but ultimately they're pretty much the same thing. And so I've been doing this research, and I get to the point I'm thinking about VR. So I literally probably spent 4 hours yesterday trying to find recent material about whether or not, with VR specifically, core count versus core clock speed matters. And there's a lot of stuff from 2017 that basically still says, you know, it's all basically the same as gaming. And so I was starting to get the vibe that things were still the same as gaming, where clock speed is preferred over anything else. That's before you get to the GPU, which is really the most important part of VR. And so here I am trying to decide whether to go Intel or AMD for my friend's VR build, because VR is still just gaming. But I've got this itching sensation in the back of my mind that there's more to it than just the clock speed, because there's a lot more going on. You're rendering more frames, you're rendering, I mean, depending on what you're trying to do, you're rendering you have to render at least 180 frames per second. But I don't know. And so this is the part where it starts getting fuzzy to me. There's no recent information about that. With gaming, you definitely still want a higher clock speed, because you're still doing one core things. And games haven't. We've been saying that game developers at some point are going to start taking advantage of more cores, but it hasn't happened, and it's probably not going to happen. Not for a long time. Watch it happen next year, now that I've said this. But no, we've been saying it's going to happen for a decade now. That's what AMD banked on, and that's how they lost their lead. These are things I learned in the last 48 hours of all of my research, which feels like it's been going for 48 hours straight. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. But everything that I've learned so far, even from a couple of sources I have who work with VR in a modern sense, they still say it's clock speed. And then they say, why are you worrying about that? Just get a CPU. So I'm wondering, at the point that I'm looking, I'm trying to get this guy an i7 9700K or an Ryzen 2, a Ryzen 7 2700X, which is just the Zen Plus architecture. And at this point, at that level of CPU, it's probably a waste because it's going to be fine regardless. But I haven't tested it myself. And that really frustrates me. And I just don't have the means to test it myself. That's something I would love to be able to do. Everything that I've looked at so far, I'll get to the next bit with GPUs next. It's basically the same. Like everyone says, these are basically the same. And there's little things, yes, with gaming, an Intel one is going to be better. Because their one core speed is faster. And honestly, at this point, it's probably fine. And then I find out that July 7th, we're expecting the official Zen 2 architecture with the Ryzen 7 3000 series. And these are potentially going to clock as fast as Intel's i9 chips, our 9th gen chips currently are. i9's a whole nother level, which we are not touching. And so that's just, 3 months away? Not that long. My friend's not planning on building this till June anyway, but it goes back to that whole, why wait? You're always going to be waiting for something new. So that's what I'm struggling with, and that's part of what actually motivated me to click record. I had been thinking about making a video on this for a bit, but that's what made me actually click record. And then I get to the GPU question, because at first I was going to go with the 2070, and I still might once I look at that final number all put together. Or I was going to go with, okay, if we're going to do top of the line CPU, why spend the money there if I'm not going to spend it on the 2080? And so that 2080 is really the top of the line. And what frustrates me now is looking at the different versions, like the EVGA GeForce 2080 XC series, or the Asus GeForce 2080 Strix OC edition. And I'm looking at these, and they are $10 apart in price. One has 3 fans, one has 2. One's a reference PCB, one is a custom PCB. Now, when the Asus one came out, it was $100 more than it currently is, which makes me think that it was better. And then the XC is one in basic, but I've heard excellent things about that. That's currently actually the most popular one. I'm looking at the Amazon listings. Currently the most popular one on Amazon. And then the Asus Strix one, which has now come down in price to be $787. Still, these are $200 more than the other ones I was looking at, to almost $300 more. Than the 2070s. So I wonder how much it's worth it. But also, here I am comparing 2 fans to 3 fans. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I so worried about this? But I'm doing it for someone else. I want to give the best possible. For me, I honestly would probably go with the Strix, but that's because I like how it looks. I feel like my friend would like how the XC looks too, but honestly, who's going to be looking at the case when you've got VR goggles on right here all the time? He's not looking at the case. I really should just pick the Asus Strix. Thank you for helping me do that. It's still going to bug the hell out of me, but we got there. Now I got to figure out, I think I went with the Intel CPU as well. Hold on, let me click some parts on PC Part Picker. All right. Yeah, I went with the Intel, and so that now bumps I should be recording this, our bump way up. So I'll probably drop the CPU down maybe. I don't know. I might have to do the 2070, but then I still have the same problem between the EVGA and the Asus, and so that's taken care of as well. But yeah, this video was mostly about the frustration of not being able to test those little tiny details without spending $4,000 of your own money. Now that $3,000 of your own money. What's the difference in $1,000, right? No. To test that, and that's really what I wish I could do. Is I wish I could test out these different parts. I don't have an answer for that. Maybe I'll build one of my friends' builds with the i7, and maybe I'll build one of my friends with the AMD, since he wants to make it a workstation. And so I'll do everything else the same and see how they like it. We'll see. That would be the dream. That would be the dream. All right. I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. This wasn't really an educational video. I've done a lot of research. If there's anything I've talked about in this video that you want to know more about, type in the comments and I'll try to make a video about it. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Why? Thank you. Why? And if I make another video, I will see you there.